fuck is that?
Little animal straight ahead.
I've never found this before.
There's loads of fibres up there. Yeah, that's a big lump of petrified wood.
I am going to show you exactly why your next camping encounter might make you rethink sleeping outside ever again. We will break down everything from blood-curdling screams captured on night vision to an unexplainable phantom boom inside an 1800s cemetery. If you heard something circling your tent tonight, would you dare to unzip the door and look? This disturbing footage was captured by a man spending the night alone in a mountain forest. He was a seasoned camper who had gone through many nights outside without issues and normally slept without trouble. This night was not the same. He woke up multiple times from loud noises coming from the nearby bushes. The sounds were intense and unsettling, almost like someone screaming in pain. Startled, he pointed his flashlight outside the tent but saw nothing. The darkness made it difficult to see clearly. He eventually lay down again, hoping the noises would stop. Not long after, he heard a low humming sound outside the tent. That was when he picked up his night vision camera and started recording. What it showed deeply unsettled him.
What the fuck is that? What the fuck is that?
It remains unknown what the man did after, or whether he decided to leave the area. The footage ends with no clear explanation. After it spread across the internet, people began to debate what they were seeing. Some claimed the video was staged, pointing out that it appears to come from an obscure 2011 found footage horror film called Evidence of the Sasquatch. Others believed it could be connected to a missing person case from years ago. Either way, the footage continues to leave a lasting impression on those who watch it. What do you think about this video? On March 4th, 2026, the YouTube channel Johnny Paranormal uploaded a video documenting a search that left even longtime viewers unsettled. The creator, Johnny, regularly explores remote locations, but even for him, this place seemed to carry a different kind of presence. The video opens with him walking along a rugged trail near the edge of the Badlands, explaining that he had been searching the nearby forest for hours. The park itself was vast, filled with thick trees, and as Johnny moved through it, he pointed out small campsites scattered throughout the woods. Some were nothing more than a piece of cloth left behind or a rope tied to a branch, but they were enough to suggest that people had been staying out there. At one point, he noticed something that immediately caught his attention. Near the side of the trail, there were markers tied to branches, small ribbons that looked surprisingly recent. In forests like this, ribbons were sometimes used by hikers to mark paths, but these appeared different. The colors shifted between yellow and red, and they seemed spaced out carefully, almost as if someone had intentionally created a route leading deeper into the woods.
I was just about to walk out, but this is real new, so we have to trace it up, team. We don't want anybody spending longer in this forest than they have to. Oh, there's more markers over there. Red ones. Always sucks me back in. That's the last yellow marker, but I put in markers every 5-10 metres. It's a red marker.
Johnny followed the markers carefully, explaining that they appeared fresh, and the farther he went, the more uneasy he became. He repeatedly pointed out how unusual the Badlands area felt compared to the rest of the forest.
Well, it looks like those red markers have stopped as well, which is good news. It's an old camp. Oh no, they're still going. Like, I just do not want to be here. I just got to the last red one. There's some belongings in over here. I haven't seen before.
Eventually, the ribbons led him to an old campsite that Johnny said he had never seen before. A worn tent sat partially collapsed among the trees, along with a few scattered belongings. Nothing looked recently used, but the fact that it was hidden so far away from the main path raised more questions than answers.
I've never found this before. This is what you don't want to find, team. It's been looted. Unless they just left it here, but I doubt that. There's some yellow tape there.
Standing there in the fading light, he admitted that this was exactly the kind of discovery he did not want to come across while exploring alone.
There's something real off around here, though, I'm telling you. There's something real off with the Badlands altogether, man. If I ever get killed in here or die in here, it will be in here. Right, those red markers have stopped. What have we got here?
After briefly checking the surroundings, he decided it was safer not to go any deeper into the Badlands that day. Instead, he began heading back toward the main trail, carefully following his own markers to avoid getting lost in the dense forest. But even as he left the park, the tension did not seem to fade.
I'm gonna have to search it real hard when the snow and rain finishes, so just walking out. What the hell's going on here? I was just walking out. That's over the weekend. There's more string going out.
As Johnny walked along the edge of the trail, he suddenly noticed something else. A note written clearly in English, with a religious message about finding hope through faith. The explorer admitted that the Badlands remained the one place in the park that genuinely unsettled him, even after years of searching the forest. Something about that area continued to feel off. A place filled with strange markers, abandoned camps, and quiet signs that someone might still be out there, somewhere in the trees. Sometimes patterns appear without explanation, and small details begin to feel connected in ways that are hard to explain. If someone left those markers and that note behind, what were they really trying to guide, and who were they expecting to find? People say this place was built with simple tools centuries ago, but when you look closer, some details don't seem to fit. If everything has an explanation, why do these stones still feel like they're hiding something? The footage comes from Blackburn Drifter, a UK-based exploration creator who visits remote historic landmarks, stone formations, and rural locations across Britain. His videos are usually filmed solo on site, with direct narration and a consistent tendency to question common explanations linked to ancient construction and local legends. This video was recorded on January 6, 2026, at Druid's Temple near Masham in North Yorkshire, England.
Another big explorer. Another big rock pile here. And that's what I'm here to show you. Piles of rock. Look at the size of that. That's 10 foot across. There's a few tons in weight there. How did they get that up there? Back in the late 1700s, early 1800s, there's a guy called William Danby. And there was a lot of local unemployment in the area. So he employed a lot of local people. He paid him £1 a week, which is equivalent to 12 pence nowadays. And he got him to build this. Quarry this stone, drag it all down here, and bring it here to build this crazy construction. And look, as soon as I walked in, I've noticed this, look, there's a panel, and it's got screw holes. So is that a repurposed piece of stone? Was that in a building at some point? I don't know. And then you've got this stone here. See how that's covered in lichen? Single cell organisms, oldest living thing on earth. And believe me, that takes hundreds if not thousands of years to get like that.
The exploration begins inside Druid's Temple, where the sheer scale of the stone formations immediately stands out. Massive stacks of rock dominate the area, many of them several feet across and incredibly heavy. The structure is commonly believed to have been built in the late 1700s or early 1800s by landowner William Danby to create jobs during a period of local unemployment. Yet the size and weight of the stones raise a lingering question: how materials of that scale were ever quarried, moved, and carefully placed, using only the limited tools available at the time.
1, 2, 3, 4 layers. See lots of lines going through it. This side's the same, you can count 1, 2, 3, 4. Same again there. 1, 2, 3, 4. And all that's petrified wood.
Blackburn Drifter pauses beside a large square block and points out the visible horizontal lines running through it. The material appears closer to petrified wood than standard stone. When observed closely, the texture and alignment stand out, especially since it does not seem to behave like typical rock.
Monoliths. Look, tons in weight. And again, you can see them, there's loads of fibres up there. Yeah, that's a big lump of petrified wood.
Continuing the exploration, he shines a light onto the stones. Near the top of one of the tallest stones, strange fibrous textures become visible under the light, standing out against the rough surface. This raises the question of whether it could be petrified wood. The size and weight of the block feel overwhelming, and the way it stands upright makes it hard to imagine it being placed there with only simple tools.
There's a lot of folklore as well surrounding this place, of mysterious goings-on, and even devil worship, believe it or not.
Around the site, old local stories have followed the temple for years. Some speak of unusual activity, while others mention darker ideas like devil worship. There is no proof behind these claims, but over time, they have helped give the place a strange and uneasy reputation.
There's a massive flat slabs of stone there. Massive. And this crazy wall.
He then enters a small cave-like chamber at the back of the structure, where flat stone slabs form the walls and a low ceiling. The space feels closed in, with only a narrow beam of light revealing its shape. Nothing unusual happens inside, yet the weight of the stone and the confined layout create a quiet sense of discomfort. Unable to endure the growing sense of unease, he decides to end the exploration early. The visit ends without any clear answers, leaving behind a simple question about how Druid's temple was really built, and whether the common explanation fully explains it. Sometimes, when details don't fully line up, even simple structures can feel more complicated than they seem. If everything here was built exactly as believed, why do some parts still raise questions that are hard to ignore? This video comes from Sydney, a US travel vlogger who focuses on van life, car camping, and scenic adventures. Her content usually blends natural landscapes with local folklore, focusing more on atmosphere rather than making paranormal claims. It is December 28, 2025 in Vermont, and she is traveling through remote roads, passing a secluded campsite at Millbury Gap, Stowe Village, Cold Hollow Cider Mill, and the Goldbrook Covered Bridge, also known as Emily's Bridge.
I'm just gonna put that down for now. So there's this covered bridge down the road, and apparently it's haunted. Should I go to it? Okay. I think that's what you're supposed to do.
After visiting the cider mill, Sydney continues driving towards Stowe, filming the snowy woods and quiet streams along the way. During the drive, she brings up a nearby covered bridge that is well known in local stories for being haunted. When she arrives at Goldbrook Covered Bridge, she goes over how it was built in the mid-1800s and shares the legend of a young woman named Emily, who is said to have died there. She mentions the common stories people talk about, including strange noises, sudden cold spots, and the feeling of being watched, while making it clear that these are only folklore and not confirmed history.
Goldbrook Covered Bridge, built in 1844 near Stowe, Vermont, is often referred to as Emily's Bridge due to a long-standing local legend that it is haunted by the spirit of a young woman named Emily. According to the story, Emily was either abandoned by or waiting for her lover and ultimately took her own life inside the bridge, though no historical records confirm her identity or death. Over the years, the bridge has become known for reports of unexplained scratches on vehicles, disembodied voices, sudden cold sensations, and feelings of being watched, especially after dark. While historians attribute these experiences to the age of the structure, environmental factors, and the power of folklore, the consistency of the accounts has made Goldbrook Covered Bridge one of Vermont's most famous haunted landmarks.
Sydney pulls up to the bridge and walks through it, noting how remote the area feels and how well the old structure has held up over time. She reflects on why the bridge is so widely known, mentioning the stories of people finding strange scratches on their cars or feeling uneasy while visiting. The surroundings are completely silent, and she is entirely alone. Nothing supernatural appears on camera, but the combination of the location's history and total isolation creates a distinctly eerie atmosphere.
Still very hot. I think my next stop is going to Stowe, and I'm going to take pictures of the church.
She stays for a short time, taking in the setting before continuing her drive. Nothing unusual actually happens, but it shows how local legends can influence the way an old, isolated place is experienced. After leaving the bridge, she drives through Stowe and continues toward New Hampshire. Once she sets up camp, she reflects on the quiet winter atmosphere of Vermont and how these stories add an extra layer of meaning to otherwise peaceful locations. The entire video avoids exaggerated drama or claims of paranormal proof, focusing instead on a calm, immersive mix of natural scenery and local history. Sometimes it is not what happens, but what is believed to happen that changes how a place feels. If nothing unusual was ever captured there, why do so many people still leave with the same uneasy feeling? This video comes from Mundo Docs, a documentary-style channel that explores paranormal and historical locations. Their approach is calm and observational, focusing on real history and real-time reactions without adding extra drama. This footage was recorded on October 6, 2020 at Triangular Field in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, USA.
We're at the Triangular Field right now at night. Jenny's pretty excited wherever she is. Can't find her. That's okay. I'll be fine by myself. It's okay. Let's go down this field and see what we can find at night in the most haunted area of Gettysburg. Jeez, watch out for the... Looks like he's spraining an ankle. Could get the stone wall right here. So we are at the top right of the triangle. Here we go.
Lawrence and Jenny arrive at Triangular Field after dark, following the same paths and tree lines they had explored earlier in the day. The ground is uneven, with stone walls, large rocks, and thick vegetation lining the edges of the field. The area sits close to Devil's Den, a location already known for frequent paranormal reports. Everything feels still and quiet. The history of the field is tied to heavy casualties during the Battle of Gettysburg, and over time it has become linked to stories of phantom soldiers and unexplained sensations.
Is there anyone here with us right now that wants to communicate using this device? Is it okay that we hang out here for a little bit?
I really don't feel like anything's even here.
Yeah?
Which is odd considering everyone says this is like the most haunted thing.
Yeah. If anyone's here and you want to say hi or even bye, you can let us know.
I can turn my flashlight off. Please don't make the batteries die, but I can turn them off.
Do you have a name? Or are you at peace here? Are you a Confederate or a Yankee?
As they move toward a stone wall, a brief pause follows when a faint and unusual sound is noticed. It does not repeat and has no visible source. The moment passes quickly, and they sit beside the wall to begin a spirit box session, attempting to detect any presence connected to the area. No clear or understandable responses come through, and the session remains silent.
Devil's Den, also one of the most haunted spots in Gettysburg. Fun story about the hill that's next to it. It's called Little Round Top. And back in the 1950s, there's a story about these politicians, I think they're state or local politicians, who went up the hill. That's the path right here we found before earlier. And it was at night, and they were looking down at the fields, and they saw some soldiers coming out of the woods and then back into the woods. And they're like, okay, well, that's interesting. So they went to the park ranger office, and they were like, oh, hey, that's a great reenactment, a show on. And they're like, what show? There are no reenactment soldiers out there in the woods. All right, you're gonna walk down. Should we cut these, I guess we can go through here, and then, because earlier we went straight through here. So, I mean, that has to take you around. So this has to go in a loop, I'm sure. So let's just do that. Check my phone, make sure my battery's not dying. Nope, it's good. But yeah, being out here at night isn't that scary? Little animal straight ahead. Hey, little guy. Ooh.
A possum?
Oh, there's like a possum. Oh.
It is a possum.
Oh. Oh, yep, he went. So these parks close at 10 p.m. It is 8:17 p.m. So we can be out here until 10. It gets dark out pretty early now.
They continue along the triangular path while discussing local legends connected to Devil's Den and Little Round Top, where sightings of phantom soldiers have often been reported. Along the way, small wildlife, including an opossum, appears in the distance, confirming that many of the sounds and movements around them have natural explanations. All equipment continues to function normally, with no loss of power or unusual interference.
Already hearing noises, but whatever. So I'm gonna turn the light off, and you guys won't see anything because we can't see anything because it's basically pitch black out here. I mean, you'll hear everything, but we'll turn the lights off. Yeah, okay. So we can see the moon. That's it, and the sky a little bit.
I can see the path a tiny bit.
Kinda, yeah, you can, yeah. Not to the camera though, unfortunately. But we're gonna sit here in the darkness, and we're just gonna listen. Listen to the bugs and the animals, and whatever through that rock, yeah. I think this is the thing that fell from the tree. But yeah, even being out here in the pitch black, it really isn't that,
No, like I'm...
Later, they sit on large rocks and turn off all sources of light, leaving themselves in complete darkness to focus on the surrounding sounds. Wind moving through the trees, insects, and distant animal calls fill the silence, but nothing unusual or unexplained occurs.
I thought it was like a weed touching my leg.
Yeah.
But I'm sure it was a bug.
At one point, a brief sensation is felt against a leg, causing a moment of concern before it is quickly identified as a bug, with no further strange activity following. As the visit comes to an end, Triangular Field does not reveal any strong or obvious signs of paranormal activity. Despite its reputation, the night remains quiet, the equipment works as expected, and no clear anomalies are captured. At the same time, the possibility remains open that different conditions or timing could lead to different experiences. Sometimes a place can feel significant even when nothing clearly happens. If the same stories keep appearing over time, is it just imagination, or is there something people are still trying to understand? One night in an abandoned cemetery, everything starts normal, until the sounds, the cold, and a single footprint don't match what should be there. What would you do if the deeper you went, the less things made sense? The video comes from The Journey is the Destination, a UK-based channel that explores abandoned places and historic sites. The investigations are filmed in real time, with very little added commentary and a focus on direct spirit communication. This footage was recorded on October 6, 2024, in Stage Pond, United Kingdom, an abandoned stagecoach settlement from the 1800s with a nearby cemetery.
Not 100% sure what's going on, but I mean, even last time as Debbie and I turned our cameras off and were walking back to the cars, it sounded like something got thrown at us. I can't wait to see what you all catch. Thank you so much for watching. Let's get into this journey, my friends. So this is another one of those 1800s ghost towns. and it was on a stagecoach line, which is how it got its name. And this road here would have been the main road going into town, and the cemetery was out here. Now, during the winter, when I can actually get back into the woods and stuff, we found a bunch of metal objects and things that were scattered all through there. I don't know that I'm going to be able to get into any of those wooded areas now. I mean, as you can see, this is kind of what the woods look like, but we'll see. This is one of those places that I honestly have been scared of, but every time I've come to this cemetery, crazy stuff has happened, so I've been really scared to actually go to the town and see what we find down there. But after hearing those knocks and that kind of stuff, it just made me have to come out here and see what's going on.
The investigator enters the Stage Pond Cemetery alone at night, returning to a location where unexplained activity has been experienced before. Past incidents involving distant knocks, sounds in the trees, and objects being thrown are recalled as the path continues through overgrown trails. Stage Pond was once a functioning stagecoach town in the 1800s, but now remains largely abandoned. The area feels tense, with subtle noises surrounding the space, and the sense of unease grows stronger the deeper the path goes.
Whoa. I just walked into, I mean, holy smokes. My leg hair is standing on end and I have bug spray on. It is ice cold right here. Hello? I thought I just heard somebody say something. Why the hell is it so cold right here? What the heck is going on? Both of my legs are hair standing on end right now. And it's 77 degrees, 76 degrees. Makes me wonder if there's... I haven't used this in a minute, but...
While moving through the cemetery, a sudden cold sensation forms around the legs, despite the mild temperature. At the same time, the feeling becomes physical, with hair standing on end. Faint voices seem to come from different directions, even though no one else is present.
That was just a gigantic boom noise. This looked like there was a woman standing right there. Holy smokes. That's very interesting to me because, I mean, obviously I'm back here and I got goosebumps up and down both of my legs. So to get K2 readings, it seems like somebody might have been murdered on the road into town or out of town, however you want to look at it. Like there was a woman standing right here. There's even, look at that. There's even a footprint right here. Holy crap. There's one footprint. There's no other footprints. There is literally one footprint right here.
A loud and unexplained boom echoes through the nearby woods. Almost immediately after, there's a brief sense that someone is standing close by. But when the area is checked again, nothing is there.
That I'm maybe not thinking of because I'm out here paranoid alone in the woods. Why there would be one, what looks like woman's shoe print in the ground in a place where I thought I just saw a woman? I mean, I'm here alone tonight. There's nobody here with me. And it seems like there would have been more than one footprint if somebody had walked through there. Like what?
Leaving the moment without a clear explanation. Not long after, a single woman's shoe print is found in the dirt. There are no other human tracks nearby, only animal prints surrounding it. The isolated footprint closely matches the figure that seemed to appear moments earlier, adding to the confusion of the situation.
Can you see that? This is supposed to have 7 bars. It's already down to 3. They've been taking a whole bunch of power from this flashlight. Is there a portal out at this town? Where is it at? As fast as this flashlight's dying, I don't know how much longer I'm going to be able to be out here. How much is... Oh, it's a motorcycle. Oh my god, that scared me at first. Morris, are you still with me?
Harmony. Died in battle.
You died in battle? Were you part of the Civil War skirmishes? Yeah, all my lights are dying all of a sudden. Like, I can't see a damn thing out here. And I know there was...
As the investigation continues, the equipment begins to act unusually. Flashlights drain power faster than expected, and sounds of footsteps and movement begin to come from different directions. During attempts at communication, references to younger deaths and past conflict appear to surface. Soon after, objects are thrown nearby, forcing a quick decision to leave the area. With equipment failing and activity increasing, the investigation comes to an abrupt end. The site is left behind without clear answers, but with a lasting sense of unease about what may have been present in the darkness. Sometimes, when small details start to connect, the situation can feel more intense even without clear proof. If everything had a simple explanation, why did so many things begin to happen at the same time? The footage is taken from Rick and His Van, a UK-based van life channel that follows solo travel, behind-the-scenes film set locations, and moody woodland environments. Rick's content centers on real-time exploration, blending quiet moments with personal reflection as he moves through unfamiliar places. This video was filmed on November 11th, 2025, in Bourne Woods, Farnham, United Kingdom.
Another weekend, another film set. Hollywood are in town filming a film called, it's a period horror called Werewolf. We'll get into this a little bit later on about me and werewolves, but this film has got that guy in it, Defoe, who was in Platoon, period horror, clearly about werewolves. And apparently in this woodland, they have built a whole village. Filming is about to start. But the plan for today is to go and have a little wander up there, see if we can see any filming taking place. Hopefully we don't bump into a werewolf on the way, and then find a park up for tonight, get some dinner on, and then go for a midnight walk in the dark. Don't know why I'm doing this to myself. I really don't know why I'm doing this to myself. I'm petrified and kind of believe in werewolves. WW cars, WW crowd cars. So we're parked up, let's go for a wander. I've heard this film set's pretty epic, to be honest with you. Let's go and have a mooch, let's go for a walk. It's a long walk to get there as well. Right, so here we are in Bourne Woods. Good setting. How spooky does that look? Let's be honest. Already. So there's a security geezer just down there on the gate, just checking people as they come through, but apparently you're allowed to walk through here if you want to, on foot. Jurassic Park, Jurassic World, I can't remember.
Rick arrives at Bourne Woods to check out a film set being used for an upcoming werewolf movie. The location is expansive, with an entire village constructed deep within the forest, including a church and a graveyard. As he makes his way toward it, he notices security staff, warning signs, and muddy paths that give the area a restricted and uneasy feeling. He points out that the woods have been featured in well-known productions like Band of Brothers, Gladiator, and Jurassic World, and reflects on how familiar places can feel completely different when transformed into something darker. The dense forest, quiet surroundings, and detailed set design build a tense atmosphere as he gets closer.
Bloody hell, look at this. They weren't wrong. Building the whole town. So you can see over there that they built this massive church with some kind of graveyard in it as well. It looks proper spooky, doesn't it? In the trees, let me show you. It's incredible what they can do, how they can make this look so different on the screen. I bet it looks really spooky at night. There's lots and lots of people around there. Don't know if we're allowed to film, but we're going to carry on until we're told not to. Oh my days, there is security everywhere. Just down there. Cannot go any further. Health and safety, because there's lots of moving vehicles and stuff like that. They've got forklifts and everything. Plus it's about that thick in mud. There's quite the operation going on. So there you go, the film is due for release on the 25th of December 2026. So if any of you watching this, and then you're going to watch the film, you've seen behind the scenes a little bit.
He continues moving carefully toward the village and church, filming the graveyard and nearby props. The set appears highly realistic, with aged stone textures and layouts that blend naturally into the forest. Security presence and restricted zones keep him at a distance, while the silence adds to the unsettling mood.
Is that a skinned werewolf?
Rick then comes across a skinned werewolf prop hanging from a tree, and it immediately unsettles him. He explains that werewolves have always frightened him, and encountering something like that alone in the woods has a stronger impact than expected.
What the hell? I didn't like that at all. I'm going back. Going back. Didn't like that at all. Did not like that at all.
Later that night, Rick steps out of the van for a short walk. But heavy rain, mist, and darkness quickly reduce visibility. The tension builds rapidly, and he chooses to return to the van instead of continuing. He shares that his fear of werewolves traces back to a childhood camp prank involving a costume, which still affects him. Even though the film set is staged and controlled, the dark woods, isolation, and realistic props are enough to trigger genuine fear. He reflects on how atmosphere alone can create real fear, even without any actual danger. The video ends with Rick praising Bourne Woods as a strong filming location, while noting how easily familiar places can feel disturbing once they are changed. Some viewers think the fear comes more from the setting than anything real, while others feel the reaction shows how strong the mind can be in the dark. When everything around you feels off, would you trust logic or your instincts? That's all for tonight's video. Which encounter gave you chills? Let us know in the comments below. Got your own experience? We want to hear it. And whatever you do, don't miss what's coming next.